All right. 8 and 9. Who's up? Everybody's up, apparently. It is D and E. Ten and 11. 10 and 11. AF. And 12, 13, 14. C, D, F. Out of 7. Now, when one is filling in blanks, one needs to be aware that synonyms are allowed. We're having cinnamon? No. Synonyms. Words that mean the same but aren't the same word. For example, the proper answer here is what? Add. A great many of you will have written plus. You'll plus them. Or you will sum them.
Did someone in your class say that?
Yes.
Nice.
So any of those words are acceptable for 1 mark. To simplify a power of a power, what do you do? Multiply, to which a great many of you will probably have written times. I timesed them. Let's go do some timesing. Yes. And the last one is 0. Which makes that whole page out of 14. I lie. 17. Because I didn't plus them right. That's the worst when you screw up your plussing. Or you're minusing. That's the worst. Now, this question has a whole bunch of things you could write there. The proper word is no. 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 Thank you. The reciprocal. If you wrote something like the flip, which some of you may have written, I would accept that. Because, of course, what I am saying is if I have a fraction, which is x over y, and it has a negative exponent of 2, that is the same as y over x to the positive 2. That is what I'm looking for there. Some proof of that knowledge. Okay? So if you said reciprocal, terrific, then you really paid attention because that's the actual word. Some of people have said flip. Some people said the reverse, which I also will accept. A lot of people said opposite, which I was willing to let go on this review because that's what they meant. But is it? What is the opposite of 7?
14.
No. Negative 7. 14. What went through your head that you came up with 14 as an opposite of 7? Okay. Whatever. All right. Fair enough. 5 is the equivalent of root 15 because the denominator becomes the index and the numerator becomes the power. For 1 mark. 1 mark for all of these. 1024 is a power of 4. Is 4 to the what? 5th. All you had to do is keep going 4 times 4 on your calculator until you got up to 120 or 1024.
I thought it meant
Okay, again, you can all think everything you want. Read the question. 1024 as a power of 4. That means 4 is the base. As a power of 4. So 4 must be raised to another power. Now, 7. If it's a cube and that's its volume, how do I find how long its side is? Cube root 343. If you wrote that, that's fine. Because if you didn't know how to get your calculator to do cube roots, that's fine. If you wrote cube root of 343, I'm giving you the full mark. But of course, if you know how to do it, which you should have known how to do it because you could have broken it down into prime factors, you would know the answer was 7. Number 8. What can I write for x to make this true? Jack. -3. Because the negative will flip that over and I will get 3 over 4. And 3 cubed is 27. It's actually pretty funny, Yunji. I think from now on, for the next little while, whenever Jack doesn't know an answer or pauses for a second, we should all yell 14. But then I'll get in trouble for bullying him. So. I am not going to even begin to go into how wrong that statement you just made is. And Sam, if you really think that, you need to go have a talk with somebody. Number 9. If there's 1 3 out there and it's a 4th root, how many 3s were under there? 4. So this is the 4th root of 405. And this question you have a chance to earn a bonus mark. This question is exactly the same principle as number 5. It just looks different. The radicand was the base, right? So what is the radicand here? M squared over n cubed, which is the base. What is the exponent? No. 1/3. If you wrote that, you may have your 1 mark. If you did the smart thing and distributed that 1/3 in here and got m to the 2/3 over n, you get a bonus mark. If you left it like this, you still get your full mark. Making that section out of 7. Factor this. So that means break it down. So some people started, since it's a big number, a lot of people in the other class, since it ended in 4, started with 2.
Oh, that's a good choice.
And then they just broke it down from there. That's okay, right? Or you can try some bigger numbers. That's okay too, right? Or you can try some bigger prime numbers. Like 5 won't work because it doesn't end in 0 or 5. But the next one does. 7 works. 14 does not work. Oh yeah, 14 would have worked.
Yeah, 14's the right answer.
So anyway, the answer is 2 squared times 7 to the 4th. And that gets you 2 marks. There's, like I say, there's a lot of ways to do it. Well, then you don't have the right answer. So it's real easy to mark. If you have 2s and 7s, but not in the right amounts, you could get 1 out of 2. If you have anything other than a 2 or a 7, then you don't know how to prime factor, which means you should get nothing in a question about prime factoring. Correct? I didn't want the square root. Oh, yes, you're right. Yes, I'm sorry. I did want the square root. Yeah, you had to finish this, pull out the 2, pull out the 7s, and the answer is 98. Now, if I were to walk around and not see this, only see 98, all that tells me is you know how to use your calculator. Right? So if all you did was punch into your calculator, I would not give myself the full 2 marks. I mean, technically you should get nothing because it specifically says use prime factorization. But I'm in a good mood. Write and evaluate an expression using exponents for the total area of each pair. So, what's this guy? 5.1 squared. What's this guy? 3.5 squared. How do I do the total area of the pair? Guys, I'm worried by this. No, stop. I am not joking. I am very concerned that I am not seeing 30 hands answering this question. What? How did you do that? I don't care what the answer is, Sam. You need to learn that about me.
Square root 5.1. You squared.
Square 5.1. Square 3.5. And add them. Thank you. Which is whatever Sam said. Great. For 2 marks. Now, you do the same thing here, except it's in yards. You didn't have to convert it. You just had to show me that when I put different words in there, you recognize that it is the exact same concept. 4.3 squared plus 9.3 squared, and you're going to get something around 100. 104.98? I don't care. This is the part that matters to me. That is what matters to me. If you screw up punching it into your calculator, that's another problem. I am marking you for your concepts, which is why I insist you show me work, because a great many of you refuse to learn how to use your calculator properly. So I give you the benefit of the doubt by saying show me work, and you can still get some marks. This question. How many ways are there to do it? Multiple. That's the whole point, right? But all of you should recognize a few things with questions like this. There's some simplifying to be done there. There's some simplifying to be done there. And there's some simplifying to be done with that too. Right? Now, the word simplify means make things simple, yes? So should you start with the biggest thing and simplify it, or the littlest thing and simplify it? You would start with the littlest thing to simplify it. I also would start with the biggest. So yellow, blue, or green? Yellow. What do I do with that A and that A's exponents? To get what? A3. What do I do with the B and the B? To get? B4. What do I do with the C and the C? C6. Now what would you do? You're going to square them. You're going to keep working up top. No problem. What do I do to that?
Multiply.
To what?
A6.
What do I do to that?
Multiply.
To what? What do I do to that?
Multiply C12.
Excellent. What do I do with the green?
Then you multiply the 3 to the B and the C.
So B,
6.
C,
15.
15. Any A's?
No.
So does A change?
No.
No. Any other B's?
Yes.
There's 8 up there and there's 6 down there. Same thing on the top and the bottom means they can cancel, right?
Yes.
How many B's can I get rid of on the bottom? 6 of them. So how many B's can I get rid of on top? 6 of them, leaving me with what? 2. B squared. Can I cancel here? How many can I get rid of?
15.
No, because I only have 12 to get rid of up top. So all those 12s will disappear, right? Which covers how many of these 15 down below? 12 of them, leaving me with how many down below? 3. Now, what Nick is saying at the back there is he just wants to go 12 minus 15 to get negative 3, which is fine. But you got to remember that negative 3 would have moved this to the top, so you got to move it back down to the bottom and keep it negative. The reason I am careful with that and the reason I like to show you the canceling thing is because all of you, not all, a great many of you refuse to learn the entire concept. You stop listening at negative exponents move to the bottom. Which means if I have a negative exponent on the bottom, you guys often leave it there. Where does that need to go? To the numerator. So that's why I like to show this canceling thing as we get further in and we get better at exponents. Right? Okay. Oh, that was out of 3. You decide how much of that 3 you get. Obviously, if you have the right answer at the end, you did everything right. You get 3 marks. But if you don't have that, you decide where you screwed up. That's why I want you to show me work. And that's why I want your work to be legible. Do you think very many of your tests look that neat? That it is that easy for me to follow your thinking? Should it be that easy for me to follow your thinking? Yes, because that's how I know where you went wrong. However, most of you, if I give you this question on a test, it looks like this. And then somewhere way up on the page where you have a bit of blank space, you start working on it again, then draw a big arrow up to it. And no. Keep it tidy so I can mark it. That was out of 3. Making this page out of 3, 2, 4, 6, and 7. I got 13. Oh yeah, 9. 3, 2, 4, 6, 9, and 7 is 16. Yep. Page 116. I want this in order from greatest to least, which means the biggest number goes first. Do I tell you how to do it? No. So would you be allowed to punch all those into your calculator and get an approximate decimal and use that?
Yes.
Yes, that would be fine. Is there another way to do it? Yes, what? You can prime factor them and break them down, but most of them are already done. Break them back up. Yes. Make them entire radicals, right? So if there's 1 2 out there, how many 2's were underneath? 3. So that's the cubed root of 40, yes? That is the square root of 30. That is the square root of 64. And that is the square root of 54. What's the problem with doing that with this guy right here? He's a cube root, isn't he? Can I compare cube roots to regular roots? No. So I got to think about this for a second, yes? What? Okay, that's fine.
You make it into a number, like, so you square root everything, and then you cube root the
You could, yeah, you could use your calculator to do it all. Or you could say this, hey, wait a minute. The cube root of 27 is 3. The cube root of 64 is 4, right? This is kind of right in the middle, isn't it?
3.5.
So you want to say it's 3.5, right? So if this is root 3.5, if I want to make that a square root, then isn't that the root of 3.5 squared? Picking up what I'm putting down? Which would make that about the square root of 12. Square root of 12, cube root of 40. Cool? Now they're all squared, and now it's easy. What's the biggest? 4 root 4. What's next? 3 root 6. What's next? Root 30. What's next? 2 cube root 5. That's what you need. Nope, 2 marks. Because even if you did your calculator, you had to do some funky stuff there. What's this guy really? 9 times 5. What do you do with the 9? Bring it out. 3 root 5 for 1 mark. What's this guy really? We just did it. Put it right there. Sneaky. 8 times 5. What's the cube root of 8? 2 cube root 5 for 1 mark there. 243. 9 root 3, because that's 81 times 3. For 1 mark there. Express as a power. The radicand becomes what? The base. The exponent, or the index, becomes what? The denominator, and the power becomes numerator. 1 mark. This one's tricky. What's the base? And what's the power? 1/2. If you got to there, you get the full mark. There is a bonus mark available to you because you also could have done x squared over y to the 3/2 to pick up 1 more bonus mark. The radicand is what? 64 n to the 4th, right? What's the power? 1/3. If you got there, you got the bonus mark, or the regular mark. You can get a bonus mark for doing what? 64 to the 1/3. And n to the 4/3. What's the cube root of 64? Close. 4 n to the 4/3. If you got there, you get a bonus mark. You got to the end of 4/3, but you left 64 to the 1/3? Somebody just said? You did 64. Oh, tough break. So you get the 1 mark. Okay. Now, everybody's complaining about the dice rolling game. I've heard people complaining to other teachers about the dice rolling game. What do you do? Really? Stop. Everybody stop. Everybody stop. Myers, Jack. Riley, Ethan, Sam, Aiden, and I can't use Josh, I've already used the J. Tasha and Yunji. Round 1, everybody rolls. How many winners? 4. So what happens to these people? They're out. Round 1, gone. Round 2. So one roll has gotten rid of 4 people. Next roll. Myers, Riley, Sam, Tasha. How many losers? 2 more. Second, of course I am. Second roll. Third roll. Myers, Sam. How many losers? 1. There's a winner. How many times did we have to roll the dice? 3. How does that apply to exponents? There's 8. Oops. How 8 was how many people started. I need to break it down to 1, yes? Cube root of 8 is 2. Sorry. Erase, erase, erase. I lose 2 people. How many times? It cuts in half thrice because 2 cubed equals 8. Now, a bunch of you were complaining and saying, I heard from other people because I listen, why is he putting a probability question on this exponent thing? Well, guys, how many times have I said math is related? How many times have I said just because we finish a unit on measurement, does that mean you get to forget it all? No.
We have an exam.
No, not because you have an It's out of 1 mark because everybody had so much trouble with it. Sam, you can lawyer ball all you want, but again, I am smarter than you guys. That's why I wrote the word expected. That's why I wrote expected. What? Yep. Alright. That page is out of 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with a possibility of 2 bonus marks. And on to the last page. Now, I was made aware in my last block that that plus sign didn't print in yours. But it doesn't matter because obviously, because this person wrote -1 there, that had to be adding. So, where did she make her mistake? Is this okay? Is -1/4 -0.25? Yes, so she's okay there. What math is happening here? Subtraction. What did she do? Added. So where's her mistake? Right there. It should have been 3 to the -0.25 minus -0.75. Minus minus becomes what? Plus 0.75, which is 3 to the 0.5, which is 3 to the 1/2, or root 3. So the error is worth 1. The correct solution is worth 2. And I will accept any of the 3. No. That would be like saying this. 2 squared times 2 squared is 4 to the 4th. Is it? No, the base doesn't change. Right? Making that page out of 3. Making the whole thing out of 3 and 9 is 12.
45.
And 16 is 28. And 17 is indeed 45. When do I see this mark? On your Quiz on polynomial multiplication on when?
Monday.
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 What if that time out? Time out. What if you forget on Monday to put it on the quiz? Could you write it on your unit test that you're getting on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yes. What if you don't write it anywhere?
Then you get 0.
I'm going to put 0 and check my mark. And what will that do to your mark?
Make it really poopy.
It will make it be poopy.
Yeah, go get rid of this now.
One moment. You will notice up here, I have quite plainly labeled what you are to be doing after we do the review. Page 122 to 124. Finish tomorrow. When did I write that?
Today.
Yesterday.
Oh.
Today is yesterday's tomorrow. I know, freaky, right?
Why'd you finish tomorrow then finish Thursday?
How about we just do today?
To mess with your heads. The funny thing is, Jack, if you really want to get technical, everyone talks about the past, present, and the future. The present doesn't actually exist. No. No, it's always the past.
What if I say that I'm gonna talk in 5 seconds?
Why do it yesterday when you can do it today?
Time goes so fast that you can't really.
The present doesn't exist. Everything in the universe that happened up until right now is the past. But by the time I finish this sentence, now that's part of the past.
There is no present time. Because
No, there isn't. No, there's a present era, you could argue. But there is no such thing as the present time. Because time never stops moving. So every tiniest unit of time has already become past by the time you've said it's the present. Yes, Jack, go. Please do.